Alrighty, we should be recording now. So thank you for joining me for our meeting. We will get going right away. So my hope today is to kind of introduce you to some of the different resources and different things that we're pulling together as we go throughout our program this year, so that you have an idea. When I say, okay, we're going to go look at forums, you'll know what I'm talking about a little bit. So this will kind of introduce some of those things to you and show you how to access them. So a lot of it, I'm going to be just sharing my screen and going through some different tabs on my web browser. Sometimes I'll show you stuff on my phone or something like that. And sometimes we'll just look at little videos sort of introducing some of the different programs and tools. So I think I'm going to start right now by shifting over to sharing my screen and just going through a few things there. So here we are. So you all saw this registration website. I've got the information booklet, that package that you had, has all the information on it. It's available to download there, as well as a copy of the schedule. I will likely be updating the schedule slightly, hopefully adding just a couple more options for people. But I'll let everybody know by email and stuff when that happens. The next little thing is, I'm going to make this just a tiny bit bigger. This is a website called Trello, and I've set up kind of like a little dashboard for our program for the year. My hope is that as we go through the year, that this will be kind of a central place that I can point you to regularly, and you can see visually how we're making progress through the year, access different things and stuff like that. So at the parent information meeting, I mentioned that we had sort of 6 little stages that we were going to walk throughout the year, and I've got those 6 stages here. Going through everything, starting with foundations and reconciliation and discipleship and so on. So as we're in the foundations one, we had our parent information meeting. Some of it is just general information like this and stuff like that. But I've also got copies of the, quick little download links to the schedule and that booklet again. Or for people who missed that parent information meeting, here's a link to access it, just to make it easy, sort of a central place for everybody to go and visually see what's going on. We're moving into our foundation section, where we're going to have baptism and the good news will be our main preparation session next week. We're going to be working on attending Sunday Mass regularly and building community in the church. Part of that is the little family pair-ups that we have coming up this coming weekend. So that's, I'll be regularly pointing you to this, and it's quite possible I'll put a little link to it at the bottom of all of my emails, just to let you know and kind of keep you updated, so to make it easy to get to. So that's kind of that. Moving on from there. So this is kind of a work in progress, but it'll get filled in as we go, but it gives you an overview of kind of the main sessions that we have throughout the year, and hopefully just kind of helps to kind of make it clear and helpful for everybody. So this will be the main little Trello dashboard I'll point you to. Now for our older youth, those in that grade, this is the age 11 and up kind of category. Sometimes we might use a little bit of stuff from the Blessed program, which focuses on First Communion preparation. But more often we're going to be looking, I think, a little bit at some stuff from Decision Point. It's made by the same people, but it focuses on confirmation. And so we might be showing little videos from this throughout our year. They're available for you to watch here on this website as well, and I'll direct you to that if we need it. It's dynamiccatholic.com. But I'm just going to show this quick little 2-minute promo video for this right now.
I live in a small town with a population base of 4,000 people. So everybody kind of knows everybody. People always wave at each other. People are always friendly. We're a group of people that basically look out for each other. I started in 2003 teaching and being a catechist, but I was too busy working and too busy doing all the other things I have in life, thinking about what is it that God's calling me to do? Is he calling me to be a teacher, or is he calling me to help other people teach? I had a job that was fairly stressful, and I say the day after Christmas my colon burst. I felt like I had a burning bowling ball in my stomach. I had less than a 50% chance of living. So I took a lot of time, went on walks. If if it was God's will that I needed to go, then I was okay with it. My boys were pretty young at that point. I didn't want them to grow up without a father, somebody that could lead them, somebody that could share with them. They were so young that they didn't actually have the faith that I wanted them to have yet. I think we're all called to educate our children on what we believe in. How we do that, we can do it a lot of different ways. As a catechist, I've tried 5 or 6 different course outlines, but what I like about Decision Point, the kids actually really respond to it. If they weren't looking to fit into the church before, after Decision Point, they are. I do think that that's important. Between the videos, the content of the book, and the journaling, I was like, wow, there's more to this than I even thought. We need to engage kids, meet them where they are, educate them more fully, so that when they get confirmed, they are fully alive. You don't have to be a complete expert in order to actually prepare and show your kids what confirmation is all about. You just have to be willing to share your life and your time with kids that desperately need that, so they know what their faith is.
So that's a little introduction to Decision Point. We'll be using some of those videos and some of the content from its workbooks and things like that as we're going through our programs this year. Something else we'll turn to a little bit is a program that we used before called Growing Up Catholic. It's got a number of really good just general resources. It's particularly good at helping families to kind of work through things together and just kind of go on this little faith journey together. So this is some of the stuff from Growing Up Catholic we'll be pulling from and stuff like that. It's got some useful things, including some notes for parents who are not Catholic. I know we've got a good number of parents who aren't Catholic, and so this has some sort of thoughts to help them enter into and sort of work through this whole process with their children. So that's another thing we'll be drawing on. Face-to-face is the next thing. They are the local group that works with youth. They work in our schools. They travel around doing retreats for churches and schools and dioceses and stuff. They are fantastic. And we're going to be bringing them into 3 times throughout the year, particularly. We'll have a little retreat before reconciliation. We call that our Encounter with Mercy. We'll have that'll be coming up at the end of November. In the middle of March, I think it is, something like that, we've got a First Communion retreat. So those are particularly focused on our younger youth, though our older youth are welcome to come to those as well if they think it'd be helpful. But then especially we'll have a confirmation retreat, and that's the one particularly aimed at our older youth, those age 11 and up. That'll be kind of especially focusing on confirmation, but especially kind of geared towards their age group. So that's one that that'll be coming up more in March, April kind of time frame. We'll get there when we get there, but face-to-face is fantastic. So I'm looking forward to having them helping us with our programs. Moving on. Formed is the next one. Formed is kind of trying to be like Netflix for Catholic stuff. So they've got a lot of stuff on there. It's also kind of like a digital library. So they've got audio talks and ebooks. They've got study programs. They've also got movies. They've got kids material. They've got a lot of great stuff. And it's really easy to use, works well. And at Holy Family, we've paid for a subscription for everybody in the parish to use. So that includes you, to use for free. So when it's time, I'll tell you, follow these instructions to go set up an account for Formed. You go, you click sign up, you search for your parish or organization. I always just say search for Saskatoon and then pick us from the list. And then from there, you enter your email address and your name, and boom, away you go. It works really well on phones and tablets. It works well on smart TVs. It works well on Amazon Fire, Roku, Apple TV, computers. They've put a lot of work into making it work well and work smoothly. So it's fantastic. I'm just going to stop the screen share here for a quick second. And I'm going to, there we go, you see me. just pulling it up on my phone's a little slow, but it works well on the phone too. It's just, it's a very Netflix, Disney Plus, YouTube kind of like experience. And there's a lot of great stuff on there. So this is something that I'll occasionally be directing you to specific videos or something, and you just have to create a free account and away you go. Actually, while I've got my phone out, I'll show you that little dashboard that I mentioned before, just jumping back to that Trello dashboard. I forgot to mention it works well on the phones too. It always tells me to ask me if I want to install the app, and I say, no, thanks. And then it's got all the stuff there, those same 6 categories. And you can just kind of click through and get the information. So sorry, just jumping back a little bit, but Formed is good. So I'm going to go back to my screen share again. Yeah, so back to looking at Formed. And then I'll quickly show you what it looks like once you actually sign up. So when you actually sign up and log in, you get to a page like this, kind of Netflixy. There's lots of stuff that's available. You could kind of keep scrolling down, or they've also got categories at the top. There's what they call movies. They have movie night where they suggest sort of, often it's like the lives of the saints or other holy people that can really inspire us. So some of these could be, they're intending that it could be like a family movie night. And with the older youth, some of these could work out very well. You just want to check the ratings and stuff on them first a little bit, but they're intended to be sort of family things. And some of them were actual Hollywood productions. So like they're well done. Yeah, so that's a little movie night. If you have younger children as well, there is the kids section, which is more focused at our younger youth. A lot of excellent stuff like Brother Francis videos. There's Ryan DeFrady's Secret Agent is a fun little series. There's lots of good stuff. And in particular, one of my favorites, especially for the younger kids, is Cat Chat. They're down here hiding a little bit, but they're a Saskatchewan family that's put together this awesome and catchy shows. Really good, maybe more for the younger kids, but really fantastic work here. So let's get back to, so that's Formed. I will definitely at some point be asking you to create a little free account on there and start checking it out. Another series that we'll look at and use little bits and pieces from is a series called Alpha. So Alpha is intended as kind of a great little introduction to Christianity, and it fits the Catholic faith fantastically. And it's really well done. So usually it's presented as like, here's a series, people are coming to a whole series of Alpha nights and they're on this journey. We're just going to be picking and choosing little bits and pieces from it, but here and there we'll use it. So I'm going to show a little introduction. For the adults, this is the version that we'd be working with the parents group.
Every day we ask so many questions. What should I wear? What's the weather going to be like? How am I going to fit everything in? But then there are those bigger questions, like why am I here? Where am I heading? Is there more to life than this?
I had arrived at an answer to the most important issue that we humans ever deal with. Is there a God? And I had arrived there without ever really looking at the evidence. And I was supposed to be a scientist.
At 28, I had gotten many of the things that I thought I wanted. My girlfriend was on the cover of magazines, I had a Beamer, and I was so unhappy. It was a realization maybe that I would never find happiness where I was looking for it.
I think for so many years, I always just strived to be strong in myself. All I needed was me and my buddies and, we'd be like invincible. But the truth is, none of us are.
I found purpose, I found meaning, I found hope. God took something so broken and made it a beautiful art piece.
Alpha is a place where you can be yourself. You can say what you think and challenge everything. Like, no question is too complex or too simple. And what your point of view is as important as anyone else's.
We are going on a journey together, an adventure to explore the questions of life, faith, and meaning.
So that's Alpha, and that's the version that's primarily geared towards young adults and adults. It's really well done. I love every time I've used little episodes from it in any way. I find it's fantastic at kind of meeting people wherever they're at in their faith life and inviting them to take next steps. So I use Alpha a lot. I think it's a great tool. And they have a youth version of Alpha series. If it loads, here it is. And so I'm going to show the little teaser preview of that as well. This will more likely use with our age 11 and up youth in various points. So sometimes when we split the parents and adults off, we might watch one version with the parents and one with the youth as well. So here's what that youth run looks more like.
Okay, you rolling? Okay, we're gonna scare Jason with this spider. Come on, we're gonna get him back. Watch it! Guys, this is a film set. You got it.
Tons of things happen in our lives every day. And in a 24-hour period, we ask ourselves so many different questions, like, what should I eat? What should I wear? Or who should I hang out with? Sometimes we ask bigger questions, like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Who will I marry? Or where will I live? But every once in a while, we ask ourselves those even bigger questions. Questions like, why am I here? What's my purpose? And is there more to life than this? The reality is, there aren't a lot of places we can go to explore life's biggest questions. So on Alpha, we want to create a space where we can talk about those kind of questions in a way that's open and honest.
In each one of our hearts, it's like we have a happiness bucket that we're constantly trying to fill. It can sound like this. If I just had more money or nicer clothes or a new girlfriend, then I'd be happy.
The nights would come and the girls would be gone. Like, it'd be just me, me and I guess God, right? And I'm like, okay, there's definitely more to life than this. Like, I just want, and you don't get anything.
There's this deeper, even spiritual hunger that we're all trying to satisfy.
As someone who grew up in an atheistic home, I wasn't just going to accept what he was going to say. So I was like, okay, did this actually happen historically? What's the evidence? I'm not going to just buy into something because I get swept up in the emotion of it.
You have approximately 570,000 hours left to live, and we want to invite you to spend less than 24 of them with us on Alpha.
So that's the youth version. Basically the same kind of content as the adults one, just presented in a way that's more helpful for the youth. So we'll be pulling on that a little bit as well as we go through some of the sessions. Yeah. Moving on to the next couple things, I've got two little ones here that I'm going to flip between a little bit. One is called Hallow and the other is called Amen. So they're both here. This one's Hallow, looks like that, or let's see, where's its website? There we go. And Amen looks like this. They're both intended as little prayer companion apps. So they're fantastic at helping to kind of enrich our prayer life, like just to dive into things a little bit more. Sometimes it's helpful if we're looking to develop or establish or improve on a habit of prayer in our lives, to have some little guidance, something to kind of kickstart it and stuff. And Hallow and Amen can be fantastic at that. So Hallow is one that my family has been using for a couple of years now, and we love it. It works really, really well. And so at some point in the year, I'll be kind of, as we talk about prayer, I'll be directing you to check out these and see if they suit your family as well. So it's really good. They basically kind of make it easy to do. So if you're wanting to pray the rosary, you can, sometimes it's helpful to kind of pray along with somebody. So you can just load it up and away you go. Or the one that my family often uses is a little daily gospel reflection. So it's a little 5 or 10 minute. It just guides us through reflecting on a short little reading from the gospel every day. And for my family, we use it as we're driving the kids to school in the morning. And it just kind of, for us, it helps to reset everybody, kind of get a fresh start. Sometimes trying to get out of the house is hectic and frustrating. And by the time we get to school, everybody's good again. And so it's been really helpful for us. So I'm going to stop my sharing again here. You get to look at me. Again, they're apps intended for our phones and stuff like that. And they're just, there it is. Simple and easy to use. You just kind of scroll through, you pick something, and away you go. So I'll be pointing you in the direction of those sorts of things later as we go as well. They're helpful tools. They can be really helpful tools. Switching back to the screen sharing again. Here we go. All right. So yeah, that's Hallow. Basically, you can see it's a nice, simple way. Hallow especially has gotten a lot of sort of good press in the Catholic world, including working with like Mark Wahlberg, a fairly famous actor. Father Mike has got a good presence in the Catholic world. And Jonathan Rumi is mentioned. He plays the part of Jesus in a series called The Chosen. The Chosen is something that I might be pointing you towards as we go through the years. Well, so it is basically, let's see, what can I show you on The Chosen? It's trying to imagine what the life of Jesus might have been like and explore it over the course of a TV series. So they've had released 3 seasons so far. They've finished recording and are working on editing season 4 now, and then they'll release it. It's free to watch, though they always request donations to help support their work. But it's fantastic. It's really well done, and it gives a sort of this is what life with Jesus might have been like for him, for his disciples, for his mother. It kind of really explores the world and gives character to the different people. So yeah, that's something I'll probably be pointing you towards as well. Some of the episodes aren't super family friendly, like my youngest children and stuff. I wouldn't necessarily watch them with. But that said, my kids have watched almost all of it and been okay with it. My youngest is 9 years old now, so that gives a little context. A couple scary scenes, stuff that might be disturbing for them, but overall, a fantastic series, and especially for the adults, I encourage checking it out, and I'll probably be pointing you to it as we go through the year. So, The Chosen, freely available. Season 1 is available on Netflix. So if you have a subscription to Netflix, that's an easy way of checking it out a little bit too. So yeah, that's The Chosen. Really well done. Really well done. And on a totally different note, there is a book and habit process called Tiny Habits that I've found really useful. It basically says if we're trying to get little habits going in our lives, often the easiest way of getting it started is to break it down into its smallest possible thing and then kind of work through that. And so as we're looking at things like working on a habit of prayer or other aspects of our faith life, I'll be drawing on this. It's been really useful. Again, in my life, it's been great. So I'll be talking to you about that as we look at sort of making our homes almost like a little church. A domestic church is one of the ways we describe what our households are intended to be. And it usually works better if we start small. And so this will help us work through that. So that's the Tiny Habits, people. And I'll be directing you to some of them, or at least some of their stuff, or at least even if I don't point you at them, I'll be using it in some of our stuff. And so again, this is that little dashboard on Trello. It works on the phones or on the web. I'll be pointing you to it just as an easy way of having that visual of where we're at in the year. We're right here over in the first section. As we get through each of them, I'll be doing a little introduction video to sort of mention things, and I'll be directing you especially to these at that point in time. But it helps to just kind of see what all we got going up for throughout the year. And I think I'm getting close to wrapping things up. Just trying to think if there's anything obvious I missed. In general, this little book with the general information, if you didn't get a chance to pick one up from the church yet, please do. It's got sort of the overall useful information. And as well, I will continue guiding you guys as we go through the whole process. You know, we got the dashboard, we got the schedule. My weekly emails that I'll be releasing, sending out to you every week or two as needed, will especially, I think, be helpful in guiding you. Actually, I'm going to pull one of them up really quickly. This is the last time I'm sharing the screen with you for you guys. That one's over here too. Oh, come on. Is it going to work? Sorry. This one. Let's give it a minute. Anyways, the emails that I've been sending to you. Yes, like one of these. I'll continue to do that. I'll continue to have the main information that I have kind of highlighted up top to try to make it as clear as possible. After that, there'll be any little reminders or what's coming up next. I'll always include that. And I'll probably start having a little section at the bottom that is just helpful links to things like the full schedule, maybe the little booklet, that Trello dashboard that we have. I'll start including those on there as well, just to make it simple to work with. So that is the main stuff that I wanted to share today. I'm going to stop the recording now. So for everybody who's watching the recording, farewell. Thank you very much. And give me a moment to do that.